Welcome back to part 4 of our live training session here with our K24 swapped Civic Si. This training module, we're going to focus on dialing in our cruise area of operation for both fuel, spark timing, and injection timing, as well as variable cam control on our K24 engine. This is where you're going to spend the majority of your time doing your driving, so you want to make sure that this is correct so we have good throttle response as well as good fuel economy. Without further wait, let's jump in so we can check this out. Welcome back to our live training session here with our K24 swapped Civic Si. Now, the last tutorial, we got our engine to fire up and run and idle control dialed in and our trigger offset checked with a timing light. This tutorial, we're going to go and take a look at dialing in our part throttle cruise conditions. We have to look at our fuel, our variable cam, our spark timing, and our injection timing, making sure they're all going to be set up and configured properly so that we have good air fuel under cruising. We have a reasonable base injector pulse width that's calculated from our airflow and fuel model, and we have minimal adjustments being made from our closed loop compensation as we're running our engine in these part throttle conditions. Now, what we're going to do here is jump in and take a look at two different things that we need to go and change in some of our tables before we actually do any actual calibrating and tuning in this tutorial. So what we're going to do here is jump right here from our fuel page and move right into our spark timing page. So we're going to move across here under our spark page, and we're going to find that we've just generated, auto-populated a spark timing table that was from our import feature found in our course folder. So this was something that was reasonably close for a naturally aspirated engine. Now, what we're going to do here is actually reduce the spark timing values down to lower values so that we can dial in our airflow and fuel model first, and then we can come back here and check our spark timing a little bit later, and we can learn the process for that. We can get that dialed in. Now, I'm on a mainline chassis dyno, and we have a live torque output reading, which makes dialing in our spark timing much easier than trying to do it on the road. You can still do it without a chassis dyno on the road. There are some techniques I'm going to discuss here a little bit later in the tutorial of how we can actually go about that. Let's jump in here and let's modify the table here real quick. What I'm going to do is go from 1,000 RPM, we'll go up here to 1,500, the next breakpoint, and I'm going to highlight the whole entire table here and set it to a blanket of 20 degrees. Now, this is a conservative amount of spark timing. In part throttle cruising conditions, we would normally operate anywhere between 35 to maybe 20 degree range, so it's going to be in that kind of range depending on the load and the RPM. We might even be able to see higher spark timing at something like 0, 10, 20, 30 kPa of vacuum. That's full engine vacuum. We might even be able to run something like 40 or 45 degrees of timing. So what we're going to find here is that we're detuning the area we're expecting to operate in so that we know we're going to have no knocker pre-ignition when we're doing our part throttle cruise tuning. Then we can come back in and try to optimize the spark timing in this part throttle cruise areas. I'm going to go ahead and just highlight everything even from 80 kPa and higher here. We're going to just set this all to a blanket of 20 degrees. This gives us a lower spark timing amount that's safe. That's not going to be too low. It's going to cause the engine to bog out and overheat and create problems for us. Then again, we can come back in here and dial some things in. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that here first, getting that out of the way. So the other aspect we need to talk about here, that's going to be if we jump in here to our variable cam timing under our VVT window. We have this VVT inlet target table. We have our two target tables. We have table 1, table 2. Table 1 is for low cam. Table 2 is for high cam. Now, looking at our low cam table here, we've zeroed out the entire table. We want to go in and have some values populated in here, especially under cruising conditions, because it will affect our airflow and fuel model, because as we move that variable cam advance, that will influence how much airflow the engine's ingesting and also then influence what the fueling is doing, how much fuel we need to deliver to the engine. We're going to put some reasonable values in the table here for any K-Series engine. Doesn't matter if it's aftermarket cams, OEM cams, as we're finding in here. The values in part throttle will be very similar across any K-Series engine. So supercharged, turbocharged, naturally aspirated. What I found, what we're going to put in the table here is going to be essentially what you're going to run. You can go and try to optimize it, tweak and adjust it, but you're going to find you're probably within plus or minus 5% of where the value should be at. Let's go and explore how to do this. So jumping in here to our VVT table here, this is going to be our low cam table. We're finding we have our breakpoints 0 to negative 100 in our MGP. Now we're going to find at 0, this is going to be essentially atmospheric pressure, and negative 100, this is going to be full engine vacuum, assuming we're at sea level. When we're looking at the table here, what we could do is actually expand the table out just a little bit more to give us more resolution in the breakpoints. If we click X on the table and we go here to the initialize axes, this is going to go in. Let's see what it's going to do. It's going to add positive MGP ranges. This is going to go all the way up to approximately 15 pounds of boost. Positive manifold pressure if we're at sea level conditions. I'm actually going to get rid of these breakpoints here. I'm going to add my own breakpoints into the table. It looks like it's not going to auto-populate that using the initialize axes option. I'm going to go ahead and put a value here at something like -70, put one here at something like -50, put one here at something like -30, keep moving on here, and then one at -10. And what we'll do here is actually copy these axes here, click OK, click yes, and then we're going to go ahead and bring that into our table 2. We want these to be identical tables to each other. This is low cam, this is high cam. So the breakpoint resolution here that we're dealing with, we want it to carry into the high cam table. So let's go ahead and do the same thing for the high cam table. We'll click X, I'm going to highlight here, and I'm going to paste. Now, it doesn't look like that allows me to do that, so I'll just manually fill it in. So we're going to go put a breakpoint here at -70, -50, and we'll do one here at -30, and then finally here, -10. And click OK, and click yes. So how do we go in and set this table up? Now, at idle conditions, which will essentially be... Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.